Hi, it's Bob Hoopsher, and this is the Gaining Perspective podcast, where we bring you insightful conversations with some of the top thought leaders in the investment advisor profession and investment management industry. I am the founder of Advisor Perspectives. Building a marketing presence is essential to the success of an advisory practice. Gone are the days of dinner seminars and cold calling. Today, marketing success requires not just understanding, but mastering digital technology, disciplines like search engine optimization, social media, and text messaging. To make that challenge more daunting, it must be done at scale and continually adapt to new technology. My guest today is one of the foremost experts on advisor marketing, and he will discuss the latest trends that he is seeing. Robert Sofia is the chairman and CEO of Snappy Kraken. Snappy Kraken provides growth strategies for companies across the financial industry, and Robert oversees Snappy Kraken's overall strategic direction. So, Robert, tell me a little bit about your career path. What led you to found Snappy Kraken, and where does the name Snappy Kraken come from?
Well, I have been a marketer my entire career, Bob. I started out right out of school working at Ford in marketing, Ford Motor Company. And then I was recruited into financial services about 3 or 4 years later. And I was recruited into a fairly significant size independent RIA. And well, this is almost 20 years ago now. The industry was obviously behind other industries in terms of marketing practices. So I started implementing a lot of the things I learned in the car business into the financial services firm, and we exploded. The firm exploded. Got a lot of recognition from our broker dealer. We started coaching other advisors, and that led to actually starting my first company, which was a marketing agency for advisors. And I ran that. That was called Platinum Advisor Strategies. I ran that from 2009 through 2016, sold it to FMG Suite, and now started Snappy Kraken in September of 2016, just a short time later. So here we are. That's how I got here. Nothing but marketing and marketing for advisors. And the name Snappy Kraken comes from the place of being a branding consultant to so many hundreds of advisors over the years and coming up with a rubric for how to name a business. And there are a number of tests that a good business name has to pass. One of those, it has to be unique, it has to be memorable, all the domains have to be available. That's sort of the basics. Then you've got other things like alliteration and strong consonant sounds. And so Snappy Kraken is really a child of all those principles. And because we're a marketing company, we wanted to have a little fun with it. So that we did. And the last thing I'll say is it does relate to our business. It's such that the tool is something that's snappy, easy to use, makes your work faster. Kraken is powerful, mighty, mythical creature. So we're powerful and we make things fast and fun. So
So, you've been around for about 7 years. Give me a sense of how big you are in terms of the size of the team and the number of clients that you oversee.
yeah, we've got a team of around 80 people. We've got a client base of around 6,000 advisors, and we're growing by 150 or so a month right now.
Perfect. Okay. So now I know you just held your second annual user conference. It's called Jolt with an exclamation point. What were the biggest takeaways that you took from that conference?
Well, it's amazing what happens when you bring together so many great minds. We chose marketers from inside and outside the industry. We chose advisors who are really incredible at marketing, and we brought them all together and we heard their best insights. And so I learned a lot from the speakers. The thing that really came out of that event for me more than anything is what marketing really is about and the purpose of it, the theme of it. And so many advisors, when you ask them what is marketing, they will say things like lead generation or advertising or emailing. And they'll talk about different tactics and channels. And those things are part of marketing. They're aspects of it, but it's not what marketing is about. When you focus on the just the tactics, you lose sight of what marketing really is. So, Bob, this is what the point of everything I just said comes down to marketing is human connection at scale. That's what it is. Human connection at scale. So what you want is you want people connected to you and your brand emotionally, mentally invested in it. You want that mental real estate. And in this financial services business that we're all in, there's no, I would say, other industry where that emotional human connection is maybe as important as in financial services, perhaps healthcare. But we're talking about people revealing all their life and putting themselves in such a vulnerable position when they work with an advisor. And so the idea that marketing can facilitate stronger human connections if it's done properly is is what's really powerful about it. And so if there was a theme to the event, it was that you think about the motive of your marketing, all the tactics, strategies, and methods you choose tie right back to building stronger human connection, and the results become very powerful.
The hot topic today is artificial intelligence and specifically Chat GPT. We've had a ton of articles on our site about it. Did you have any takeaways from your Jolt conference about how AI and Chat GPT will help advisors?
Yeah, we did. It was interesting to have that conversation on a number of different topics where it came up. And the key takeaways here, I think there are two. Nobody denies that it's powerful technology and it has a lot of applications. But the first takeaway is it's not as far along for really impacting advisor marketing as a lot of the companies out there talking about how they've incorporated AI into their software would like you to think it is. It's not transforming advisor businesses yet. I mean, the fact that you can do a little bit of generative text or the fact that you can do a little bit of automatic personalization, those things are great, but it's not really transforming how advisors market yet. And it still needs work. A lot of the as they call them, hallucinations that these tools have. It can undermine confidence. It can cause inaccuracies, and then you've got when you start doing extensive automatic customization like that, you need human fact checkers. You also need compliance to be checking, and so it's it's not. I guess that's the first takeaway, right? It's great. It's got a lot of potential, but there's still a lot of work to be done. It's not all done. It's not all there yet. Second thing is this: the real potential, I believe, and in talking with other thought leaders at the event, there seems to be consensus. And this is subjective, but the alignment, every time I talk to anybody that knows anything about the technology, it's pretty remarkable how they believe this is really the best use case for advisors. When you think about the data that you have in your CRM, when you think about the data that you have in your financial planning software, age and beneficiaries and holdings and location and career and so many things that you have this data set about the profile of someone. When you take that data, you read it, you interpret it, and you generate custom, highly personalized, relevant communications with that data so that what people are receiving feels very personal to them, you end up with a much higher engagement rate. So the thesis is, and this is something we're testing as well at Snappy Kraken, if you send people a communication that has direct relevance, the open rates will go up, the click rates will go up, the conversion rates will go up. Therefore, all marketing performance will go up. And I believe that's true. A lot of folks I talked to at the event also believe that's true. And we're starting to see a lot of marketing companies figuring out how to drive more relevant communications with that technology. And that's what we're really excited about.
So it's not ready for prime time, but the potential is there for what I would call personalization at scale. Why do you think advisors need a conference specifically tailored just to marketing?
The industry has been underserved in marketing education. And advisors, especially independent advisors, this might not be the same problem at wirehouses when somebody's doing all the marketing for them, but if they're trying to run a business, they also have to market it. It's not just build it and they will come. So marketing is a business essential function for most advisors, and the industry is behind on marketing. And there are a lot of great resources to help advisors. So our goal was bring together all the advisors, bring together all the marketers, content creators, so they can actually collaborate and learn from each other. It will make the marketers more effective by hearing from the advisors. It'll make the advisors more effective by hearing from the marketers, and lift the whole industry up. And nobody was doing that. So I said, well, somebody needs to do it. And if nobody's doing it, then it's going to be us.
I want to ask you about a couple of business ventures that Snappy Kraken has done recently. You acquired advisor websites about a year ago. How's that gone? And what does the new unified offering look like from the combined entity?
We've been very pleased with the outcome of the integration, but also much harder than I expected, Bob. If I'm telling you the truth, you take two companies. One is a Canadian entity, one is a U.S. entity. So cultural differences. Then you've got two products that are separate from each other, and then you've got these teams that are all structured with redundancies. You got two marketing teams and two people ops teams and two sales teams, and you try to make one unified organization and product, and boy, that was a lot of work. So it's taken us a year to get the teams combined, make sure the right leaders were in place, to get the product roadmap combined and our QA processes combined and our customer service teams combined. But we did that. We did all of that work. And so what does it look like today? You have one company, Snappy Kraken. Uh, Inside of our company, we have three products: websites, automations, and Convos, which is our text messaging platform. And these three products are all accessed from one place. What we are doing right now, we're selling them together, we're servicing them together, they're accessed together, and they work together. So if you have a website from us and we're driving SEO, visitors via SEO, and they're getting there and they're opting in, they're automatically going into our nurturing funnels for our automation product. And if you have Convos and on your website it says text me your financial questions, and somebody texts you, they're automatically going into the opt-in flows and text messages are being exchanged. And so you're getting the synergy from the website, the marketing automations, and the text messaging channel all working together. That's the current state. The future state that we are working towards, and something that will be released this quarter, is an even greater unification from a user experience perspective. So that right now, the way you manage your website and the way you manage your automations, it feels a little different. We are really excited to have something that all feels the same, feels unified. So we're taking all the data, we're dumping it into a unified dashboard. We're taking all of the design choices around our user interface and applying them across the whole platform. And so over time, what's going to happen is it's just going to become completely seamless. There are still some things that are not as integrated as they have the potential to be, and that's what we're driving towards, is that total integration of user experience, data, and everything else. And so that'll probably take us another 6 months to a year to finish, but it's going really well.
You mentioned Convos and you mentioned SEO. Those are actually two questions that I'm going to ask you about in a second. But first, you also announced a partnership with Morningstar. Explain how that works. And do you have any other partnerships on the horizon?
Yeah, the Morningstar partnership is one that we're really excited about because Morningstar is so respected for their research, and a lot of advisors use Morningstar Office. And for years, they've been asking Morningstar for a more user-friendly way to distribute research to their clients and prospects. And that's what we partnered up with them to do. So now advisors will be able to, directly access curated list of the most client relevant research from Morningstar, and send that easily to their clients and prospects using our automation tools. The ability for us to have the the charts and the graphics and the um, amazing amount of research that Morningstar has done integrated into our other content is a big aspect of this. The ability for Morningstar Office users to get a discount on Snappy Kraken, and the ability for Snappy Kraken users to get a discount on Morningstar Office, and then of course just the value that advisors get from being able to use that content in other ways besides just their own internal research is really what this comes down to. So Morningstar's licensing their content to us, and we're licensing our technology to them. So it's a good partnership.
Do you find that advisors are okay with sort of canned research like you're describing, or do they really want to customize it to reflect the way their particular practice works?
That is a very astute question, Bob, because yes, they definitely want to personalize it, and that's part of what our system actually does. So when they pull something up in Snappy Kraken, whether it's an email communication or a social post, we give them all of the ability to make it their own. So they can edit the text, they can swap out the images, they can change links, they can really do just about anything with it. And that's why I don't like the idea of canned content. We're sort of anti canned content. We do produce a lot of content, but we think of the content as really a series of frameworks. So we have frameworks for prospect nurturing, we have frameworks for client engagement, we have frameworks for lead generation. And the advisors who have the most success with our platform, they go in, they open up these frameworks, and they do their own personalizations. They put their own personality into it. Sometimes they swap out images with their family or their business or from their area. And then, of course, it's more relevant. We talked about that a little bit earlier, and they get better results. So you can use everything as is, but it's much better if you personalize it a touch.
Let's pause for a couple of minutes for a word from our sponsor. I know that you already enjoy our content from advisor perspectives every day. So why not use our award-winning articles, commentaries, and charts to streamline your communications with clients and prospects? My team and I introduced AP Premium last summer, and we've been blown away by the response from the advisor community. Keep listening for an exclusive code to get $10 off our premium service. You won't find the in-depth, sophisticated market analysis and charts like Advisor Perspectives anywhere else. This information can be invaluable to help your clients understand complex topics. Let's say a client asks a question about their estate plan. Instead of spending time researching and drafting a long-winded response, quickly grab any number of related articles from our library and share it in a personalized way. AP Premium gives you the power to add your logo and a personalized message to any piece of content and share it directly with your clients and prospects. We also introduced a premium offering called the Ask an Expert webinar series. At our inaugural session, we were joined by Wade Fowl for an intimate Q&A. Advisors have told me this is one of their favorite perks of being a premium member, and we can't wait to share who's slated to join us next. Give Premium a try and see for yourself why it pays to be a premium member. As always, we appreciate your support of our efforts to bring excellence to financial journalism. And as a thank you, I'm offering a one-time $10 discount for new premium members to be taken off your first monthly or annual payment. Just go to advisorperspectives.com/member. That's advisorperspectives.com/member and use the code podcast 2022. That's podcast 2022, all caps, at checkout. And now back to our podcast. So we provide a lot of editorial coverage around advisor marketing and websites. And I want to just run a couple of topics by you where specifically we've actually had a lot of articles and we've had questions related to those articles. You mentioned search engine optimization earlier. Is it a good investment? If so, what is the best way to use it? And can it cost effectively drive leads for an advisor's niche?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the most hot topics. In fact, I think consistently our blog posts that address SEO get the highest click rates. Advisors are always interested in this topic. And, SEO is like everything else marketing related. It's not the holy grail. And there are some advisors who invest all their marketing budget into their blogs, and they have very unique niches and very specialized thought leadership, and they will say SEO is the thing they rely on. And some people latch on to that, and they come to us and they're ready for their SEO package, and they think it's going to absolutely transform their business. And the truth is, advisors who aren't thinking about SEO, they're missing out. But the idea that it's going to be the only or the primary way that you grow your business, I think of it like a tool in the arsenal. It's not every tool, it's one tool. So SEO can be very effective. We generally try to focus on long tail keywords rather than just the most popular ones. If you're in a place like Denver and you're trying to win on SEO with Financial Advisor Denver, it's going to be very difficult to do that. There's going to be a tremendous amount of competition. It can be done, but that's where I'm talking about like commitment and time. But if you think about long tail keywords and you start to optimize for more specific things, like maybe it is financial advisor for technology employees in Denver who have incentive stock options. Okay, now you can win. You can win much better rankings with something like that because it's much more specific. And that's just one example. So we try to go back to first principles with advisors, and we try to help them appreciate the need to get really clear on the psychographic profile of their ideal client, understanding their needs, their challenges, their pain points, and then developing an SEO strategy around that audience. It's the generalities that make it very hard for advisors to succeed with SEO. It's the specifics that make it possible for advisors to really excel with SEO. And sometimes it's hard to get them on board with that because they want to serve everyone, but without a really big budget and potentially some advertising dollars, it's going to be hard to dominate in those I will say generic categories that every advisor off the top of their head thinks they want. So the real value is when you drill down a little deeper.
We recently ran an article by Sarah Grillo. She's one of our more popular authors. She's also one of the more provocative ones. And she wrote an article called Those Awful Meet the Team Pages Are Torture. And her thesis was that those Meet the Team pages are often too impersonal, they're unoriginal, they're uninspiring. And she made the case for a more personal and engaging approach to those pages. What do you think?
Almost every advisor website that we've done has a team page that's pretty basic. And usually that's because the advisors won't invest in the photography or the video that makes them great. And so, you can lead a horse to water, right? But what we try to do is get them to understand the value of doing a few things like bringing in a professional photographer, taking a couple different types of photos, including a mouse over. So can you show your primary headshot, but when they mouse over it, can it show a picture of you and your family or a picture of you engaging in your favorite activity? And then what's in your bio? How is it written? And that's where you have to invest in good copywriting because nobody wants to read 6 dense paragraphs of every designation you have and where you graduated from college. And those things are fine, but they can be bullet points. And what you really want, this goes back to the earlier discussion about human connection. You want people to go to your team page and say, wow, I like these people and they seem trustworthy. If you can accomplish those two things, uh, that is that's the goal. And in my experience, the best way to do that, we strongly encourage producing a firm overview, or if you're a solo advisor, a bio video, putting that on that page introduces them to you, to your family, to your lifestyle. We also, as I mentioned, strongly encourage the photography, and then of course quality copywriting. Now, if you get all that right, you got a video, you got great photos, you got good copywriting, you even in your bio, perhaps it includes things like your hobbies, your interests, your favorite team. Now people can relate to you, and those pages can become very effective. In fact, they're usually like the number 2 or number 3 most clicked page on an advisor website. People go to those pages. So set them up for success. Take advantage of that traffic.
Let's talk about the economy for a second. There's a possibility, not a foregone conclusion, that we'll be facing a recession sometime this year, perhaps even in the second quarter. Are there steps that advisors should take to communicate with their clients, given your theme of human communications at scale, under the context of a recession, to help market their services more effectively?
Yeah, we actually have been doing a lot of research on this. We just did a poll of high net worth investors. 800 of them responded, and we learned that 52% of them are willing to change advisors within the next 18 months. It's a pretty high number. So we've been doubling down on helping advisors put themselves out there to say, I I want to help you weather this impending recession. Here are some tips. We've created a whole suite of content with like recession survival tips. I think the theme of the campaign is around make this your best recession yet. And we've got content around historical performance of recessions and stock market corrections and bear markets, and so leading with a lot of education around how investors can thrive in downturns is a big part of our strategy. The other thing is those 52% of clients that are up for grabs. That means the other 48% may not be. So good for you if you can hold on to at least half your clients, but you want to hold on to 100%. So that 52% could be some that are in your book of business. So now what are you going to do about your existing clients? And we're having advisors double down on the same types of communications, even to their existing clients, but with a big focus on video. So we've created a series called Personal Connection Videos, and we provide a script every month, and it's very easy to record the quick video, distribute it to your clients. We also do something called timely emails. Every time something happens in the market, if there's a bank failure, if there's a increase in inflation, if there's a interest rate increase, if there's a big drop in the markets, we are addressing that in a timely communication, and they're written first person from the advisor, and they're designed to be personalized. We actually give them a like a Mad Libs style personalization, insert your thought here type of prompt. And so those have been very effective as well in making sure that their clients feel like they're in front of them. So if you combine those timely emails with our video series, and then of course the typical monthly recaps and quarterly recaps that we provide, you're basically in front of your clients once a week. And that level of connection is really going to help your clients stay with you. So it's twofold. Keep your current clients happy, go out there and make yourself available to the people whose advisors are not doing that. And we're focused on helping them do both.
You mentioned Convos earlier. I know that's your new product that addresses text messaging. How are advisors adopting to the use of texting for communication, and what does Convos do to contribute to or accelerate that trend?
Well, Convos, I think of it as a lifestyle tool because most advisors they're either in one of two camps. I'll take the camp where they're allowed to text, and then clients are texting them anyway on their cell phones. Advisors don't want that. Most advisors don't want their clients texting them on their personal cell phones all the time. So that's why I say it's a lifestyle tool. We give them a symbol dashboard that uses their office number. All the text messages come into their office line. They can administer it during the day. There's autoresponders that work on nights and weekends, and people can text their questions. Texting is the number one most popular channel of communication. Fastest open, fastest read. People use it. 86% of consumers say they want to be able to text the businesses that they do business with. We're empowering that. So we're empowering it in a way that advisors can have their boundaries. But on the flip side, there's all the advisors who haven't been allowed to text. And then their firms tell them no, or it's not compliant. And we're fixing that too. So now they can use this popular channel to enrich relationships with clients, make themselves more accessible. When we put the text me your questions opt-in widget on websites, it converts at a 4x higher rate than an email opt-in. So that should tell you something. It's pretty powerful.
I read some of your blog, some of your writings last night to prepare for this, and one of the things that struck me was you mentioned psychographics as a tool instead of demographics in marketing. What's the difference, and why are psychographics important, say, in the context of the economy?
A demographic profile is what most advisors market to. And a demographic profile is just age, location, how much money they have, what's their income. These types of data points are generic. I could be just for example's sake, I could be 50 years old with an income of 150K and a net worth of $1 million, and I could be a black woman, a white man. I could be working full time, working part time, running a lifestyle business. I could be a physician. I could be. There's just so many. I could be a landscaper. There's so many differences when you look at that type of data. But when you use a psychographic profile, that is not just demographic data. It goes much deeper. It's what are you feeling? What are you thinking about? What keeps you up at night? What are your aspirations? Now, when you look at your best clients and you figure out what the answers to those questions are, you come up with a profile that will resonate. So, go back to my example. I'll just say you're a uh, Asian woman physician. There we go. In the demographic data, but you're actually a white male entrepreneur. Uh, Also in the demographic data. Do you think the same kind of communications are going to appeal to both of those people? Absolutely not. So, psychographic profile says, no, I know that you are, as an entrepreneur, you're wearing a lot of hats, you're very busy, you want to have the maximum exit for your business. You are trying to figure out how to fund your business and your lifestyle and your retirement. Flip over to the physician, who's a woman. Maybe are you earning as much as your male colleagues? Are you worried about malpractice costs? Um, are you worried about burnout? Like all the things that go into a psychographic profile will change when you're more specific like that. So what happens is it allows you to build campaign and communications and content for a specific audience with a specific issue. And when you do that, then people see it and they go, oh, this applies to me. And that's how you gain clients. So psychographics are something that basically says, I know you, I see you, I can relate to you. You just can't do that with demographic data.
So you're running an 80-person company. You've got a big acquisition that you've digested over the last year. You've got a very prominent position in the advisory profession. As CEO, what are the biggest challenges and the biggest opportunities that you face?
My personal challenges and opportunities that I think relate to many others are how do you scale something that is bigger than you, that will outlive you, that has real enterprise value, and that you make sure it lifts everybody around you up. You want your team, if you're going to be successful, you want your team to be successful, you want your clients to be successful. And how do you do that for hundreds of people, for thousands of people? That's the challenge every day that I come to work and try to solve for. And I think a lot of advisors can relate to that too. A lot of CEOs, you're trying to drive success for yourself, your team, your shareholders, your clients, and so that's the challenge. It is also the opportunity because if you can do that well, you have the chance to impact so many lives. And that's really our goal at Snappy Kraken is to be one of the most enriching organizations in financial services. We want to enrich the clients that we serve by getting them better outcomes. We want to enrich all of our employees here by making sure that they have better careers and opportunities. We want to enrich the industry by making sure that we lead in the right way with the right principles, and by doing things that benefit the industry. And I think that's a huge opportunity to do that and build a legacy that is not just for you, but for so many others.
If there's one key takeaway that you'd like to leave with our audience of advisors about the most cost effective way that they can ramp up their marketing, what would that be?
Get crystal clear on the ideal psychographic profile that you want as a client. Spend the time. Know what unique questions and challenges they have. Know what lights them up in a good way. Once you are clear on that, spend your time and effort sending, posting, sharing content that directly relates to that audience and their specific needs and challenges. And you can use somebody that helps you do that, like Snappy Kraken. You can hire a marketer to do it for you, or you can do it yourself. It doesn't matter, but do it, because when your blog posts and your social content and your emails all align for that group of people, you will experience growth, and you can do it without spending $1 on advertising.
Well, we'll include some links in the notes that accompany this podcast where you can learn more about Robert and about Snappy Kraken. There will be a link to Robert's personal webpage and a link to Snappy Kraken's corporate webpage. Robert, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to say thank you for having me, Bob.
You're very welcome, and thank you for listening to the Gaining Perspective podcast with Bob Hoopsher, today featuring Robert Sofia of Snappy Kraken. To support our podcast, please share, subscribe, or leave a review to help make our podcast more findable for your friends and colleagues. You can subscribe to Gaining Perspective on iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher.